There you go. Good work, everyone. Pashas Yisrael. Wow. As I was like, you may find it silly, but I actually, when I learned the Shnag Mikro V'Chatagu, I was sort of like reading the Chumash, and somehow I got to this state of mind of like just looking at what was written there. It wasn't so much like okay, so I'm seeing a pasuk by pasuk what this mean and so forth and so on. It was just like it was like sitting on my windowsill digging everything kind of thing. It's like I was just reading the Chumash, and I was just reading it, and then I get to the part because Baruch Hu comes down to Har Sinai, and I go like, wow, oh, because Baruch Hu comes down to Har Sinai, comes to this world, gives a Torah. I freaked out. Like, can you imagine this happening? So anybody I tell this to, almost anybody, they look like, duh, yeah. No, 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 no. You don't understand what I'm saying. So I can imagine you going out of your house now, and Kodesh Baruch Hu comes out, talks to you, comes down, talks to you. I can imagine what a freak out that would be. I, I didn't have the proper words. I got a certain kind of a gift of we call it Frischkeit, of freshness. I was just looking to see what's written there, like almost like as if I was seeing it for the first time. It was amazing. It was amazing. Wow, unbelievable. I thought I'd share it with you. Anyhow, Evald. Okay.
Wow.
What? It's okay. The microphones are open. People are welcome to chime in. All right. Let's see what's the Sipurey Baal Shem Tov for this week. Bezat Hashem, it's going to be Rosh Chodesh Adar Rishon on Friday and Shabbos, and Bezat Hashem, we have a couple of months to go in Yetz Hashem. Bezat Hashem, Kodesh Baruch Hu Yazor, we'll see great miracles. Okay, here we go. Chodesh Pesach by the Baal Shem Tov. The preparations for Pesach by the Baal Shem Tov were it's like somebody who obviously like the Baal Shem Tov was a tremendous experience, simcha, unbelievable. His great talmidim, like the Magid and the Yaakov Yosef from Polno, the Pinchas Koritzer, the big talmidim would come and have the Seder together with the Baal Shem Tov, which is interesting because Rabbeinu, none of the Talmidim ever joined him for Seder, or by Seder. Seder he did only with his family. Russell said that once he passed and he saw the door was open and he saw Rabbeinu sitting by the Seder table with his family. That's the only time that he saw him. But the Baal Shem Tov Talmidim were there. It was okay, you can understand, said about Baal Shem Tov was unbelievable spiritual uplift. Baal Shem Tov saying the Torah, you can imagine. But in the year Taf Kuftet Zain or Yud Zain, it's not certain. That's that's 1754 or 50, 1756 or 57. The Baal Shem Tov's behavior was very different. It was very mysterious. The day before they did, they drew the Maim Shalano, the water for the matzahs. He was in great simcha. But during, as the evening came, let me just while I'm reading this, we'll go. As the evening came, they saw the Baal Shem Tov was like, it was like his mood darkened, as it were. So his Talmidim were obviously, very distressed. After Bdikas Chometz, the Baal Shem HaKodesh told his Talmidim to make Tikun Chatzos with tremendous kavonas. Now they know that something very serious is afoot. So only Baal Shem HaKodesh was willing, was able to see it. Well, the morning came, the Talmidim were hoping that, the Baal Shem Tov's spirit will be higher, but his face was very pale and very severe. And he asked the Talmidim to make the during daven and kavonas, the special kavonas for Rosh Hashanah. After the tefillah, the Baal Shem Tov says Divrei Torah that centered on bitachon. What is true bitachon? Says the real bitachon, he said, that even when a person does not see any way out of the problem, any way out of the quagmire, he trusts in the Kadosh Baruch Hu and his forthcoming Yeshua. Says this is the signature, the sign of a true bitachon. And right after this, the face of the Baal Shem HaKodesh lighted up. But that simcha was mingled with dread. And that's the way the day passed. A mixture of simcha and miriris nefesh. The time when they were baking the matzahs, Rabbi Shem was in gewaltige simcha. For mincha, again, he asked the Talmidim to be mechaven the kavonas of Rosh Hashanah. When they got to the Seder Talmidim, the Halige Talmidim, they came around the Baal Shem Tov and they waited for his explanations, for his annotations, for his when he was saying the Agada. But this year, the Baal Shem Tov just read the Agada, did not lift his eyes. The Agada just read whatever was written with a beseechful melody, just shtapchas hanefesh. And he didn't stop reading even for a minute. No explanations, no insights, no nothing. This caused great consternation to the Talmidim. And the Baal Shem Tov then sat quietly. It was deep in thought. And the room was death quiet. The Talmidim were also, each one was in his own thoughts, you can imagine. I mean, you're talking about G'dayla Olam. And I said before, the told us, the Baal told us, and then the Magid. Suddenly, Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh started laughing. and they opened up, they looked at him, and he saw that his eyes were shut, and his face was like burning, like on fire. And he is laughing from a deep, deep, deep simcha. After a short time, Baal Shem HaKodesh opens up his eyes, says, Mazel Tov, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shmoi, HaGodol, that chooses the Torah, and Moshe Avdoi, Yisrael Amoy, that is Amoy, in other words, his nation, Prince Israel, they managed to poil more than Yisraelik Baal Shem Tov. Nobody had an idea what he was talking about. I mean, everybody was happy, but they wanted to know what's going on. So Baal Shem Tov tells them, in Erev Chag Pesach, there was a very, very serious and harsh decree on the Jews in one of the villages surrounding the town. The Gentiles of that place that hated the Jews viciously, they decided they're going to finish them off. Dafka b'Chag Pesach l'olim. He said, I saw it, and I tried to ameliorate it, to cross it out, and to mevatel it. Didn't work. I asked you for your help, your tefillas, your kavonas, but everything that I did or you did not help. So I threw myself into the midah of bitochen and just put myself in the hands of Avinu B'Shamayim. When I saw the extent of the gzeira, of the decree, I didn't see any chance to get it canceled. But as I said at that time, the Midas HaBitachon is even when you don't see a way out, you trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you go on. And in the evening, when we sat, to make Seder, I just couldn't calm down. The time of the decree came closer and closer, and I didn't see a way out. I mean, like the die was cast. But suddenly things changed from, totally. In that particular village, set to made a Seder. They said in one of the houses, husband and wife that had no children. And the man, who was one of our, one of Hasidim, is a middling in Yiddiya Satira, but he's very tmimisdik, masim tovim. And he sat with his wife, and he read through the Agada, told her the stories of the problems that the Jews had. And when he told her about the gzeira of kol ben ayolo da yorat ashlichu, every male born, throw la'aleinu to the river, the woman started crying. He said, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu would only grant me a son, I would treat him differently. I wouldn't allow anybody to touch him, to touch the boy. I would not deal with my son the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu is dealing with us. And the husband, from his side, he says, Master Migas Hadin. He says we have to believe HaKadosh Baruch Hu is tzaddik b'chol drocho. Whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu does, he knows what he's doing. But the woman says, where is Midas Rachamim? What about compassion? How can HaKadosh Baruch Hu behave like this with his only child? Even if we sin to him every single day, we are still his children. And that was the conversation. The husband justifies HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the wife, Tainus, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to have more rachmanos on Am Yisrael. After the fourth cup, the husband had nothing else to say. He said, "You're right. Kadosh Baruch Hu has to have more rachmanos on his nation." Since they finished arguing, and they were a little bit under, they drank some wine, wasn't there? Whatever. So they started dancing. So at that time, in the Shemaim, they accepted the words of defense of this village woman. And when they started dancing, that made simcha in all the Olamis. And I was also in a great simcha, and obviously the Gezerah was vatal, was canceled. Okay, so anybody is welcome to open up your microphone to say anything that you wish to say. But I want to to concentrate here on the Kuda that we already spoke about a little bit last week, and another Kuda that we spoke about on Thursday during the Likutei Moharan Shir. And that was we hear these stories about Shem Tov with the simple people and how he sees that in this case there's a simple man that does this, or a simple woman that does this, and he changes the whole thing around. And the question that was asked at that point in time was like, what is the role of the Baal Shem HaKodesh in this thing? Meaning, we understand, we know that before the time of Baal Shem HaKodesh, there was a chasm in Am Yisrael, and between the Lamdonim and the simple people, and basically our nation almost split into two nations. And the Baal Shem Tov, put the two together and basically zipped the nation up to one nation again, elevating both sides, both the value of the simple people as well as exposing the value of simple people and elevating the Torah basically from how shall I say it? It wasn't just Torah knowledge. It is Tesal Salotara Memeka. When you are dealing with the Torah, Torah elevates you. The Torah is a level of kedusha. The Torah and the Tefillah, the Torah leading to Tefillah, the Tefillah leading to Torah, is not just becoming a Torah doctor, a Torah professor, but becoming a divine being through the learning of Torah. And the revelation of the importance of the simple people is for us to let us know that it's not like they, oh, well, they're great people, but me, you know. No, the answer is that you can change the fate of the world with one word. Rabbeinu says that there's a mission in Pirkei Avos says that every single day a person is being judged, and the person is being the verdict is being executed, whether the person knows about it or he doesn't know about it. So it says in the Sichos Haran, it said Sipurey Baal Shem Tov, I think, that what does it mean, midaitoi v'shelo midaitoi? Whether he knows about it or he doesn't know about it. How does it work? So Rabbeinu said that when there is lo aleinu, a din, xera on a person, because Baruch Hu b'shamayim, they sort of like get it around to him that he hears about a similar situation, about someone else. Let's say a person did a certain thing he shouldn't have done, so he hears about someone else who did that thing. And they ask him, what do you think that should be done with that person? Now, the person doesn't know that he's talking about himself. Obviously, who he knows says, oh, well, of course you should just forgive him. Somebody else, no, this person should A, B, C, D, whatever. And this is the verdict that is signed on that, it is doled out on the speaker himself. Says that's the meaning, medaitoi. In other words, a person himself is making the decree. Because he doesn't know that he's talking about himself. And Rabbeinu says a person has to be very, very extra careful when passing judgment about other people. Because you don't know who it is that you're actually judging, on whose verdict you're actually sealing. But the thing is that the Baal Shem Tov is not just the Mises Baal Shem Tov is not just that we're hearing, this Mises, this Sipurey Tzadikim, Sipurey Baal Shem Tov, this kind of folkloristic kind of stories, but rather the Baal Shem Tov, it's not just that the power of the words of these people were able to change in Shemaim, and because people are saying good things all the time. The point is the Baal Shem Tov wasn't just an idle bystander during this whole thing. The Baal Shem Tov being aware, the Tzaddik Emes was being aware of this exchange between the husband and the wife. Their words had the hashpah of sweetening and ameliorating the gzera for all the people of this area with the koyach of the Baal Shem HaKodesh. That's why the Baal Shem HaKodesh was telling this particular story. Everything that we do is done with the koyach of the tzaddik emes. That's what Rabbeinu says, you bring to me brick and mortar, and I build the buildings from it. With our words, with our mitzvahs, with our shtadlus, whatever it is that we do, it may be small, but we are standing on, the shoulders of a giant. So our words and our bonus have a huge impact, not only in ourselves, but all over the world. The thing that we need to understand that, first of all, everybody is standing on the tzaddik's shoulder. You don't have to be a Breslover for that. The entire Am Yisrael is sitting on the shoulders of the tzaddik emes. Doesn't matter if you're a Vizhnitzer, you're Litvak, you're a Brisker, you're a Breslover, you're a Chabad. Everybody is standing on the shoulders and the koach of the tzaddik emes. In all the true tzaddik, all of them. But the nekuda that I really want to get out of this particular story, this particular histaklis, is that today in the jet planes, especially fighter planes, whatever, it used to be that the stick, the air, whatever it is, was connected to wires that would, turn the plane or bank it, whatever. But today, it's no longer like that. It's called fly by wire. They have this little joystick on the side, and they take off and they put down and turn, whatever that they do. It goes to a computer, and the computer does whatever it needs to be done. Even a small little movement of your hand changes the whole posture of a huge plane. I mean, you don't have to be a Hercules to be able to. It's just a little thing, little movement changes everything. I'm saying this legabe, that you should know that you can call out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in your thought. You can wish just small little, Ibn Shalom, just help me out. And it changes things. It changes everything because now it's a fly-by-wire. You no longer have to be, the kind of huge person that it used to be in yesteryears. Rabbeinu says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is conducting the world nicer and nicer all the time. In other words, with a little bit of effort, with a little bit of goodwill, you can change your fate, the fate of your family, the fate of your children, the fate of Am Yisrael, just with a machshava table, with a milah table. Say a page of Shmoyes Tzadikim. The smallest little thing is connected to the tzaddik emes and it changes everything. It's a tremendous koyach. But we are sort of like, what difference will my tefillah already do? Or I'm just like, I don't even feel like davening. So, I mean, mainly if I was like, really with everything, I understand. But just like, my mind, please, I wish this way. That probably doesn't mean anything. No. Like the Baal Shem Tov was watching this couple having an argument. The tzaddik emes is watching you. And with a little bit of a word here, a word there, a thought here, a thought there, you're changing everything for yourself and for your children. And the reason I'm saying this is because you have to get into this, and you can obviously should ask a Kodesh Baruch for this, a state of mind where you realize how light the controls are. You can just think and it changes. You can say a word Adrabah, Vadai, if you mean it more, you put more koiches, the more koiches, the more powerful it is. But even if you just lift your eyes up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're not even able to say a word. It's a fly-by-wire. You're changing everything because you're connected to tzaddik amos. By the way, everybody is invited to open up your microphones, to unmute yourself and join the conversation. If you have any ha'oras, you have any questions, you have any thoughts, bavakasha, just go ahead. Baruch Hashem, we have a nice number of people here. So, anybody has anything to say? Yeah. Abdullah.
I heard a very nice word
Yeah.
from my chavrusa about the this parsha talks about the nesher. The Kodesh Baruch Hu says I took him out on the wings of the nesher.
Yeah.
Rashi says that the nesher is different than the other animals, the other birds, because the nesher takes its offsprings, and it puts it on its wings. The other birds holds it underneath between its legs, like in the claws. So my Rutsa had I don't maybe it was a horror that he thought of, or maybe he saw it somewhere, but he compared. Did you hear about this? The comparison, Rabbeinu and the other tzaddikim.
No, go ahead.
So he said that the nesher is like Rabbeinu. Oh, wait a second. Before, sorry, the Rashi says that there's the arrows that come. The nesher puts this offsprings on top because it protects because of the arrows, the hunters. So the nesher puts itself in front of its babies, to protect it. The other animals, the other birds, they have it's twofold. First, it has to protect. There's a fear of the arrows, but also it's a fear of the nesher that flies on top of the other birds.
Right.
So my chavrusa said that the Rabbeinu Kaddish is the nesher. It tells us Hasidim that I could make you great just like me. So it takes its Hasidim and it puts it on its shoulders to show that he's also raising up his Hasidim, right? The other birds are the other tzaddikim. The other tzaddikim they put it underneath the legs because they're afraid if they put their offsprings on top, then they're gonna see the light of Rabbeinu, and the Rabbeinu is gonna chop him. That's why it puts it underneath its legs, and he's not much in nefesh. He's like he's okay that the arrows could strike the little birds, the babies, but Chalila, if they go up on top, then they'll see the light of Rabbeinu, and they'll come close to the tzaddik.
Okay, so there are two things that I want to say about this. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, there is, obviously there is a meter of emes to this, because people being people.
Yeah.
Just because, tzaddikim are also people, and but the point is that you should know that there is a certain kind of a hobby in Breslov to put down the other tzaddikim.
Okay.
Like, there used to be a song in the 50s, my whatever it is really hot and yours ain't diddly squat kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm a Mets fan and you're a Yankee fan and your team is nothing, whatever. This is not a good place to go to. This is not a good place to go to. Uh, there are certain people by which, that particular outlook is true. And there are certain tzaddikim by them, it's not, that's not the way things are with them. It's like they do the best they can. Sometimes, they got it from their forefathers, whatever it is, and this kind of istaklos, ours is really hot and yours ain't diddly squat, is sort of like pushes them away. Like you're talking about people who are really, tzaddikim, and because we as rest of us come to them and say, you're, you and your father and your grandfather, great-grandfather, whatever it is, were nothing because Rabbeinu is number one and you're nothing, and he drives them away. In fact, I know such a Jew who is a Rav and his father is a Rebbe, and I love him. The guy is a really, really Elachayid, a sweet, sugar sweet. And he's learning the Likutei Moharan. So in fact, I had a chavrusa with him, learning Likutei Moharan. So I said, what about Likutei Tfilos? You learn Likutei Moharan, fine, but learning Likutei Moharan is that's the theory. But Likutei Tfilos, you're turning the Tfilos into, the Teres into Tfilos. That's the greatest simcha that in Shemaim ever. And he wouldn't do it. He had a mental block. He couldn't do it. Why? Because of that Nakuda. That the rest of us, say that we are number one, everybody else, is B minus. I don't know what. The truth is, the tzaddik emes, the entire world rides on the shoulders of the tzaddik emes, and all the tzaddikim also. All tzaddikim also. There were great, great, great Yidden, great tzaddikim in all the generations. Yeah, in Achinami. It's not the tzaddik emes la'amita yichida doros beseder. But what do you think? The Stapler was not a tzaddik? The Rabban Bez wasn't a tzaddik. The Lubavitcher Rebbe wasn't a tzaddik. The Beis Yisrael wasn't a tzaddik. The Chofetz Chaim wasn't a tzaddik. The Ramosha Lolaver was not a tzaddik. You have to. There are different perspectives. Every Motziyam Tisha B'Av, Moshe Lolaver used to, Yerushalayim used to come to the best of his measures and sit in front of the Rabbeinu's chair, which is there, and just sit down, look at the chair, and cry. Moshe Lelav was a serious tzaddik. He was a great admirer of Reb Shmuel Shapira and other. He was a Rebbe. So I, for one, would rather stay away from, look, let me tell you, here's who we are as everybody here. Do you know what I'm saying? David. David? Hello? You shut yourself out. You are muted. Anybody? Yeah.
Okay. Nah, I hear you.
Anybody else has any thoughts about this? You don't have any thoughts about this. Okay. If you don't, you don't. Okay, Ada. Let's get to the Sichos Haran for this week and see what's going on here. And 227. We'll do maybe 227, 228. 227. He says, Rabbeinu says, I found in Ksav Yad of the Chaverim, Rabbeinu says that it's better to make his Beidus outside of town where the plants growing, because the plants make the heart get excited. Rabbeinu says in Kutim Haran, Rabbeinu says that the asavim are actually giving their koyach when a person goes through them, and a person speaks to Kadosh Baruch Hu. The asavim they give their own strength to the person, and that helps his tefillah to get higher, to go higher, and the heart obviously to get more excited. We'll talk about that. I just want to read the next one as well. Shamati bishmoi, that he said bevadai nimtzaim ksherim. That tzaddik, you see our own conversation from before. It says bevadai nimtzaim ksherim. Bevadai there are other tzaddikim. Afal pisha en lam izbeidus, even though they don't make izbeidus. Avani korei otam platus. I call them refugees. Mevoholim and bulbolim. They're frightened and they're confused. And splitsly, Mashiach will come, and he will call them, and they will be all tzechisht. They will be all into their own inyan, into their own way of doing things, and they will be all confused. Like, what do we do now? It's like he said, but we will be like a person after they woke up from sleep, from nap, that his das is noyach, is miyushav. He says, B'ezrat Hashem, that's the way our das will be noycho and miyushav and settled and presence of mind without any kinds of mayhem and confusion. So the first, obviously, I mean, you are welcome to open up your mics and just say whatever it is, whatever you want to say. You can ask whatever you want to ask. It's open. But this inyan of davening in the field, in the field where there are plants growing, obviously doing this and doing it after Chatzois, after when there's nobody, in a way that in a place where people usually don't, hover around there, even during the daytime, and doing it in a time when people are asleep, and when there are plants around. This is bevadai, the Cadillac way of doing things, bevadai. But I just, Dafka wanted to tell you about the opposite. It is possible for some people to be more comfortable to make his beirus Dafka in their own home. In a cheder miyuchad, they have a room, you close the door, and you're sitting down, and you're less bothered. Don't hear whoop, 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 I don't know, voices. Some people are usually like this, some people usually like that. And I remember when I spoke to my Rabbi Simcha Balev, Hashem Yishmeru, and I said, maybe we'll go at that time, we'll go to the field, whatever. And he said to me, we went to the field, a few times together, and he said to me, I'm more miyushav doing a dafka in a room, which means what I learned from this is that you should always weigh the pros and cons. We want to sort of like have, to adhere to the straight and narrow. These are the rules. That's the way you do things. And if you don't do it that way, then no. You should have, look at things with Yishuv Adas. Which way are you more, free to, I'll give you, for instance, it helps me personally. I don't know, every other person is different. It helps me, to get around and walk around or even do something. That's something that doesn't require thought, like, I don't know, washing dishes. Or it's almost like, when I was in school, And I'm like severely ADD, like to the nth degree. And when I was listening to the teacher, I was drawing in my notebooks. And my teachers, which had a lot against me, rightfully so, they thought that I wasn't listening. Araya, I was doodling. But they didn't realize that by doodling, I was actually, taking that part of my brain, this ADD part of my brain, and getting it busy. So it left the other part of me open to listen to them. Division of labor kind of thing. It works for me even today. Walking around or doing something thoughtless, that doesn't require thinking, actually makes it easier for me to talk to Kodesh Baruch Hu. When I sit by myself, without moving, doing anything, many times I find myself winning the world championship by, dunking from the other side of the court. I don't know. Just I don't know. So, how's by you? How's it by you? What's the anybody? Come on, guys. You say something.
Rob, Rob, I've heard of something very interesting
Yeah, go
that
ahead.
might be. It kind of goes along exactly what you're saying. They call it. I know somebody that participates and they have this type of therapy for
Yeah,
people for post traumatic stress disorder, from people that come from war and all these very very horrible traumatic experiences that really they have very bad problems, and they have this thing called EMDR therapy.
right.
You've heard about this?
Sure. Something with the eyes.
It can be eyes, but it doesn't have to necessarily be eyes. It can be like a vibration in one hand and a vibration in the other. It's
Okay.
kind of this like a physical task that you focus your mind on, and then it allows you to I guess like enter or like exactly what you're saying. It just does the division of labor, and then you have a more penetrating access to that other part of yourself that can like rewire certain things in your brain and stuff. It just goes along exactly what you're saying. It seems like.
Yeah, I totally see it. I totally see it. I mean, it's an important thing. It is an important thing, um, because many times, you need to be able to give yourself leeway so that you're able to get over the hump. Like you ask a person, okay, sit down or whatever it is, talk to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Mhm. Yeah, he knows that already. Mhm. That doesn't matter. Mhm. Open up the Likutei Tfilas, say a little bit, or Likutei Halachos, see what it's talking about. Start saying some little tefillah, and then build something on that. That's cheating. You're not. There is no cheating. There's no cheating. You get yourself going any which way you can. That's the way to do it. And with this, we go, to the second part. The Rebbeinu says they're tzaddikim, ksherim, that are true tzaddikim, but they don't have his bonus. Rebbeinu says that basically puts their mind in like, like a refugee. Refugee is somebody who runs and doesn't have a presence of mind, doesn't have the kind of equilibrium to make a cheshbon. This I should do, this I shouldn't do. The only way that this can be done is through his Baidus. So the first part, the first sikha that we learned talks about, do whatever it is that you need to do in order to be able to talk to Kodesh Baruch Hu. And the second part we spoke about on Thursday during the shir, this Eden of Mishpat. Each and every one of us, know that we have Nekudas Chus, we have some good points about ourselves. Whatever it is that we think about those good points, that's a separate issue. And we definitely know that there are bad things, right? Many, many times, yeah, but I would say even, I don't know, most, but to me it feels like most. Uh, Mostly it's the bad that outweighs the good. The prosecutor is much more forceful because it feels more frum, it feels more religious no, 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 to judge myself like that than to say, all right, hey, I'm happening, man. What are you talking about? Be serious. What's this? And most probably, even those of us who are able to work with Nikudas Tovos, look how many Shabbos I was able to keep. How many brachas I managed to make. How many lulavim I took. That's right, Dalad Minim I took. Matzahs that I ate. Seder Pesach. It's not a small thing. It is far from being a small thing. But I know it by me, maybe it's by you also. I know that I'm sort of like cutting myself slack, probably in some places that I shouldn't. I'm like giving myself, a sales price in the places that I should charge premium. On the other hand, I also know that in the places where I'm actually, beating myself up, I'm doing it in the wrong places and for the wrong reasons. It's my own self-image, that is getting to the picture, and because my father told me I was bad and I'm bad, whatever it is. The only way to actually rebalance to the best of your ability, to be besimcha, and also to be concerned as one should be about Olam Haba, is by making a zbaydus and making a mishpat. And mishpat, of Rabbi Yitzchak said, mishpat means that there is a prosecutor, and there is a defender, and there is the judge. Because just a prosecutor and you, then the prosecutor becomes the prosecutor, the judge, and the executioner. You got no chance. Not only no chance to get, out innocent, you don't have a chance to actually serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the way that you do a mishpat, the way that you judge yourself, you come before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, hopefully out of town, with our plants growing and everything, and you give the prosecution, the right to talk, and the prosecutor comes and he says it, and you don't daven, you don't bench, and you run away from things, and you find out you're davening without a minyan, and whatever it is, all those different things and each and every one of them is true. Yeah. This and 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 this. Okay. Then comes the defendant about davening. Well, we know that it's true that I can't argue that my davening leaves a lot to be desired, not just by outcome. In other words, that I don't manage to actually do it with full kavanah, but I'm not really trying, on all cylinders at all times, or hardly ever. But that's where I'm holding. I really wish I weren't, but that's why I'm holding. The prosecutor, I object. Objection. What do you mean? What kind of a test is this? Excuse me. I didn't disturb you when you were prosecuting. Don't disturb me when I'm defending. It is true that I'm not holding that. I never did. every once in a while I have some. Okay, that's point number one. And so, and you come up with all these kind of excuses that seem that the persecution just like tears out his hair out. What kind of a lame excuse is that? But it's true. It's true. I want to be good. I really want to be good. Yeah, but I don't want to be good enough. But I want to be good. That's what I can do. And when both sides have said what they had to say, then the judge comes. And you ask Rabbi Shalom, what does the judge say? And during his Veda, the Kodesh Baruch Hu will give you the right insight. Most times, the judge will say that there is a great amount of truth to both sides. And the decision is not going to be like the prosecution wants to be a hanging judge, to throw the book at you. But the idea of the judgment is what can you do? What can you accept upon yourself? What should you accept upon yourself to get yourself one step ahead towards the right direction? The idea is not to take revenge against Kodesh Baruch Hu is not a bear. It's not Chas v'Chalila a mugger standing behind the corner, with a baseball bat to beat your brains out whenever it is just expecting you to make a mistake. That's not Yiddishkeit. The idea is to come out with a conclusion that will enable you, to step one step further. Many times you have to wait. You can't take a step further. You have to wait. You have to ask. You have to beg. You have to wait. That's what Rabbeinu says. Anybody who wants to make tshuva on Rilo Hamten, wait. Leave to ask Kodesh Baruch Hu and beg. This is what Rabbeinu says, that when you make this, you are like a person who is das miyusheves, the mind is settled. You're able to see things for what they are. It's not possible without a Kodesh Baruch Hu lighting to you the Or Yashar of what the emes is. Anyone? Mute, unmute? Maybe? Yes? No? Okay. Anyhow, so this, Baruch Hashem, is for this Motzei Shabbos. And Bezrat Hashem, I hope that all of you will have a great week and a great Chodesh. Yes, Rumi.
Good Tavach.
Good Vach. We'll see you, Akar. Were you going to Miron? You're going to Chutz La'aretz?
Nah. I'm actually going to be Menachem with someone. And yeah.
So
and
yeah.
Next week, I guess I'm gonna see this on the tape delay, whatever.
You say that?
Yeah, you're gonna be giving the share middle of Shabbos.
For you.
Yeah.
Bezrat Hashem. So everyone, Gitvoch, thank you so much. And Bezrat Hashem, Monday night we have another open mic share, with everybody, joining in, and we're learning Eitzos and Mevoras, come up with questions, Ha'oras, stories. David, thank you so very much for the word that you said. I think that it helped clarify things and sort of like, we need this. We need to hear this, where sometimes things are, sort of like move and narrow things down for us so we can actually get to where we need to get. So will end the recording.